in the church. Some of them have children. Some of them are conch workers. One of them was even recommended to be church admin one time. These are amazing people I would have lost if I was considering just skill. So, what am I saying? Character sustains what talent starts. Skill attracts attention. Character sustains trust. Skills can be trained. Character must be chosen. Skills attract attention. Character sustains trust. Skills can be trained. Character must be chosen. All right? One trade secret. A teachable person with integrity would outperform a gifted rebel over time. A teachable person. So, what you want to do is look for people who are teachable and teach them. It's like they say about wives. A proper wife is likened to flour. Flour. That's what they call it, Abi. Is it flour or flour? Eh? Flour. Is it flour or flour? Oh, you're a baker. Flour or flour? Yeah. Okay, you shall know what I'm talking about. Say it to yourself in your mind, whatever you say to yourself, as long as you understand. So they say a wife can be likened to that, something we're talking about. Because out of that, you can make chin-chin, you can make cake, you can make puff-puff, you can make, all of those things. But if you marry flour, don't marry puff-puff. Because you can't make anything out of puff-puff. Puff-puff is already puff-puff. So if you're going for just someone who is skilled, you won't be able to teach that person character. But if you have someone who has character, you can teach the person skills, because the person who has character is a teachable person. I used to have one guy, not my friend. He used to say, any woman I want to marry that cannot pray for 1 hour daily, I can't marry her. So my wife, I think we're married then. Now told the guy, say, then you're not looking for wife now, you're looking for prayer warrior. Just marry prayer warrior. Just know that whatever you get from it. But you see, if you marry a proper wife, you can teach her how to pray. You can teach her how to cook. But if you are looking for prayer warrior, don't go and now be expecting her to wash your cloth later. Because all she knows how to do is to pray. Well, not all prayer warriors are that lazy though. But okay, I'm just moving very fast. Model 5. Systems that hold creatives together. Okay. Core principles. Teams fail from lack of systems, not lack of anointing. So if you thought that fasting and prayer would grow your team or would bring stability to your team, you lied. Because you see these guys in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they don't pray in the Holy Ghost. They don't pray in tongues. But see those things they are building. In fact, the Bible says God is able to do, what's that scripture? Abundantly, exceedingly abundantly above what you can, what? And what? What you can, above what you can, and so what you can pray about and what you can imagine. So, two people have responsibilities there, God and you. It is not God's responsibility to imagine. His job is to answer your prayers. Your job is to think, is to imagine. So if you think that just praying, I'm saying just praying because it's also important, but you don't just pray alone. In fact, some of the most frustrated people I've met in my life are the most prayerful people. And I'm not even joking. Because they would leave every other thing and pray. When people are walking, they're praying. When people are building, they're praying. So creativity is spiritual, but execution is practical. Independent creatives must define roles, document processes, confirm expectations, and repeat communications. I'll say that again. I don't know if it's in yours. It's not there. Sorry. Creativity is spiritual, but execution is practical. Independent creatives or creatives must define roles, document processes, confirm expectations, and repeat communications. I like that document processes. A lot of us don't even know how we got to where we are. If you were asked to teach or talk about how you don't even know because we don't even document processes. So you don't even know how you got to where you are. You don't even know how you get to where you want to get to because you see, success is predictable. It's predictable. To document processes. Say it, write it, repeat it, clarify it. All right. Leadership under pressure. That's model 6. I've handled projects where, so I did a project for a client. The client was an owner or the owner of a bank. He's into music, so he had like artists under him, and I was going to be, and he likes music and does music, so we had done some work with his artist. This was the last rehearsal or the second to the last rehearsal before the project itself, and the man, this is after weeks of rehearsal, he just walks in and just sing everything for me again, play it and let me hear, and he crossed his leg. And we did everything. And he just said, no. It's rubbish. This is rubbish. No. Take everything back to, no. I can't take this. I can't accept. My guys were fuming. They were angry. Sir, how do you take this from this kind? How does somebody just, write off everything, all our efforts and all of that? And I was there smiling. And I asked the man, sir, please, what would you have us do? The man said, no, start all over. I said, sir, this is the second to the last. He said, whatever happens, start all over. I told you guys, you are professionals. You get everything done. No problem, sir. And one of my guys said, sir, I felt like going to hold him and drag him out of this place. And I'm like, hey, hello. I'd assigned responsibility, when I used to have a recording studio some years ago. I told one of my clients to come and work with my studio engineer at the time, and I went out for a meeting somewhere, and the client called me and was shouting, "This boy here, I'm going to deal with him. I will lock him up. I will be able to. Very stupid boy. Who is this useless boy that you gave to work with me, Manus? I don't know you to be this kind of person. Why would you?" I said, "I'm sorry, sir." So when I got back, when I spoke with my studio engineer, I realized that the client was at fault. And then my studio engineer was like, "Sir, that man is a very stupid." I said, "Shut up." It's one of the last things you want to, in fact, don't ever let your subordinates, your team members, catch you responding to pressure. Tomorrow, they will slap a client and expect you to back them up. They will speak rudely to a client and expect you to back them up. Your composure determines your team's attitude towards pressure. So the way you would react to it now will determine. So after those experiences, I've not seen any of my guys respond like that or react like that anymore. Because it's simple. They just say, "Oh, if boss, could be discomposed when he was even the one in the forefront." Because really, it's me they used to pity for. They used to feel like, because maybe I'm really quiet, I just take everything anybody says. So they used to try to want to defend. I'm like, "No, don't worry. I don't need your defense." So in those kind of moments, panic spread faster than problems. Calm leaders stabilize the environment. Authority is proven in crisis. All right, I think this will be the last one because my time is up. Um, if you're going to build a team that would last, if you're going to build a sustainable team, you would have to um, apply care and emotional intelligence. Um, people people respond to. I pay my guys. I'm probably I don't know in my line of work. I doubt that there's anyone around who pays as much as I pay my guys, and I say this very very factually. But you see, one of my guys is getting married. I'm paying for part of the wedding. Another one is going to school. I'm giving them money. The other one is doing house rent. I'm doing. The other one is doing something. You see, you want to get people to buy into your vision. Because you see this vision, it is your vision. It is your vision. It's your job to protect it. And whatever you need to do within the books that can help you protect it, you have to do it. So there has to be a play of extreme emotional intelligence. And they need to just know that you care for them. And so if you want people, because who gets the job done in the first place? It's not you as a leader. It's your subordinates. It's the members of the team. They're the ones that get the job done. So you want them to be happy doing it. You want them to... I've traveled with my team out of Abuja to do some work in Lagos. And when we got there, they put me in a very nice hotel and put my team in a not so nice hotel. And guess what I did? I checked out of my hotel and I said, give me a room in the hotel where these other guys are. They said, I know. I said, no. Oh, so you know the place is not good enough. Put me there. What did they do? They moved all my guys. I've had invitations from outside Abuja where they would say, sir, please, can you come by air? And then your guys come by land. I say, I'm sorry. It cannot even happen. Everybody, we are winch, will fly. Nobody will go by road. And eventually we'll say, okay, sir, please, can you just reduce the number? Hey, okay, now we can talk. But the idea, no. And see, these people, they would die for the work. They will give anything to make sure that the work does not die because of what they are gaining from it. If it fails, they fail. So, creatives carry emotional and spiritual weight. Care builds loyalty. Yeah, I said that. Burnout reduces excellence. Check in beyond performance and monitor their well-being. Check in beyond performance and monitor their well-being. I'm probably just going to close with this. There's a young boy that I mentor. Is the son of a major general. And, his parents have been complaining and all of that. And I asked him to come and see me. He came to my house and we're talking. And he told me something. He said, my mom just always wants me to perform, but she never checks in on me. She doesn't even care about how I feel. I go the extra mile to make sure that I'm not like my peers who are doing drugs, who are doing all of this. I try to make sure that even if it's not for myself, but I make sure that I make sure that they are proud of me. But all they want from me is performance. Just maybe I'll have to start doing something for myself from now henceforth. And I know what he was saying. So the reason why your staff will steal from you is because you are giving them reasons to. So, people are not tools for your vision. They are subordinates. So as you make efforts to begin your team, or to grow your team, or to start up your team, or to grow your team, please remember that you are not employing tools but subordinate. People who, some of us just like the idea of boss, oga, sir, and all of that stuff. They can't even call you by name. You know, who knows Bongo Sikwe here? Now, wow. All of you are Bongo Sikwe. Bongo Sikwe is a very, very old-time musician, like them, Sonny Ade, Shino Peters, them, but he's from Benue State. Yeah. I did some work with him some time ago, and he was telling me a story of how, he was with his friend, and his friend's driver was talking to him and put his hand in his pocket, and his friend told the driver, "Your hands are in your pocket and you're talking to me." So he asked his friend, it's not his hands. I don't understand. What is it with this thing about, we just, I don't know where it came from. So somebody cannot put his own hands inside his own pocket. It is considered to be disrespect. And so some of us want to be called boss, want to be called Oga, want to be called Mrs., want to be called Mr. Oh, hello, what is your name, ma? Ma? Halisa. So it's Halisa. Doesn't have to be, I know she's married, she would love to be called Mrs. But hey, a lot of these multinational companies, organizations, they don't have time for Mrs. or Mr. They are titles. They tell you straight up, call everybody by their names. And so people are not tools. If you forget anything that I've said here today, don't forget that people that you're going to be working with are not tools. They are subordinates. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
Okay, thank you so very much, sir, for that very insightful chat. I believe that we've taken down a lot of notes, and I want to believe that we have one or two questions that would want Manus to respond to. So if there are questions, now is your time. Any questions?
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so my question will be directly to Mr. Manus. Okay, no other person actually. So, from your experience as a leader of a very good team, when is the best time to hire someone? Like what season? What do you look out for in a season when you hire someone? Do you just hire somebody only when you need the service, or you hire somebody to teach the person a certain skill or a certain service you want to render? So when is the best time in a season to hire someone?
Thank you. I think it would depend on what you do. I don't think it is one size fits all. There are people who would have to hire novices and train them and be willing to still give them incentives while you're training them to become. Sometimes some people will now have to, sign like a contract, to say you must be with me for a certain period, because you know how some people can be. You just train and then you are off. But there are some businesses that would require that you employ paid staff from the very word from the word go. There's no room for instance, for what I do, I cannot for the one that I do, I cannot employ musicians that are not skillful. There's no way. It takes years to be skillful enough to do the kind of work that I do. So if I employed you now, Jeff, and as a keyboardist, and assuming you cannot play keyboard, it will take you probably another 10 years to be, okay, maybe 5 years of everyday practice, 7 years thereabout, to be able to get to that point. So in my case, I would not employ a novice. I would not do the first option. I'll do the second one, where I would employ someone skillful from the word go. There are businesses that would have to leverage on volunteers at some point. But then as you scale, you would know that there is a level you may never be able to exceed with volunteers. You would now need to employ the services of paid staff. Did I answer the question? Okay.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful and insightful session. So many lessons that you shared and I've learned. So I have some questions. So one is, in the course of your work, are there times where, like turbulent times where at some point you even like, I would say doubted where this vision is heading? Those times, how did you handle it with your team? Then secondly, how do you revive? You talked about a team where members are dormant and or where you have to do almost everything yourself. So how can you revive or reshuffle such a team, like to make them buy into the vision, or probably having to drop them off and start a new team? How can you do that? Then
Oh no, one after the other, sir.
okay.
Otherwise, you still get to read everything again eventually.
Okay, sir.
So first, the truth is everybody gets to a breaking point at some time in business or whatever business or ministry, whatever you are doing. Everybody gets to a point where you want to quit. And that is why it is important to surround yourself with people, with the right people. One of the first things I did when I was starting my team was to share my vision with them extensively. And every time I get the opportunity to, at least twice a year, I still revisit. I still get to share it with them. I know that last year, I did it twice. This year, at our retreat for this year, I did it once. I'm probably still going to do it another 1 or 2 times before this year. Now, thankfully, I have an amazing wife. Now, for me, the times when I have been discouraged and almost, walked away, what helped me was that I had shared this vision with people who could hold my hands through it. And I have done that for people also. I have a friend who, back in the days, we used to share, we used to tell each other, we used to tell each other, we're going to eradicate secular music from the face of the earth. We're too enthusiastic, I don't know what we're even saying. But we would say, I will start a school, a gospel school. I will start a this. We used to tell ourselves very crazy things. He grew up to become one of the most celebrated. If I mention his name here, probably 80% of us here would know him, but I wouldn't want to. He grew up to become one of the most celebrated secular musicians, secular producers in Nigeria. And so one time I called him, I said, bro, remember that time where he used to show me something? He used to call it Levite City. He said, my brother, Kai, that's it, And then he said, so the truth is, now, before he started it, I actually went to him. I told him, I said, bro, the way you are going doesn't look like what you told me. He said one thing. Now, he had me, to tell him, but then it was in his place now to either take the support I was giving him or not. And unfortunately, he did not take. So for me, I've been surrounded by people who know when I am derailing and they're able to hold my hand and bring me back, because trust me, we live in those times when you will see shege and you would want to run away even from your own self. The second question was, say that again? Reviving the dormant team. Well, the truth is this. I learned that you run business like ministry and ministry like business. No, you run business like church and church like business. So what that means is that you apply the principles of ministry, of church to business, and then you apply the shrewdness of business even to church. That's the reason why you go to some churches and you have missed certain number of this thing, you remove it from choir, or they remove it from workforce, and all of that. So for me, I'm actually quite shrewd because it has a lot, because of how personal the services we render are. I don't, I don't have the, I don't, I may not be able to. It's not like I don't have the patience. I've had to endure with some of my staff for 6 months, 1 year, and then but eventually I had to let them go. Last year I had to let 2 people go. So when they have become too dormant, now, especially when they are responsible for the dormancy, yeah. But if it is a case of when the leader is suffering from trust issues and is not giving them, then it is the leader who has to deal with it and begin to put them to judicious use. What was the third?
So the third is, you say you have a idea or a vision now, and you want partners or partners or co-founders to push that. How can you handle that in terms of um, finances, in terms of building structure to make sure that you're all on the same page, and even when you're even expanding and expanding your team?
Thank you very much. Um, Truth is, we live in very difficult times. I'm sorry to say, it may not sound like what a Christian should be saying, but just saying, we live in very difficult times when it takes a whole lot to get anybody to. I wonder what the person is doing. I mean, it takes a lot to get anybody to leave whatever they are doing to come and start up with you, especially when they cannot see immediate, tangible reward. And so, what I would suggest a lot of times is if you have a vision, maybe this is not a very good advice. I don't know if I should say it. If you have a vision, the first thing you want to do, the first thing, leave that vision first. Get a job, make some money, and have something that you can start up with and then get people to join you. That is what I would advise. I have a friend who came to me. In fact, this young man taught me music production in 2007 or so. But life had happened to him. And then he came to my office some years ago and told me, oh, he has a vision. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. He wants to get back. I want to get back. He had plans. He had this. And I told him, wow, wow, wow. And he had gotten married. His wife just had a baby and everything. And I told him, I said, what you have just said now is fantastic. I said, but the first thing you will do, sir, is go and get a job. Get a job that will at least be providing food for your family. Then you can now starve yourself to power your vision. Because you're not going to drag that innocent child and that woman into this thing to come and suffer, and then you'll not be looking for them to come and suffer with you. Get a job, no matter how, or just look for something, no matter how small it is, that can just take care of residual needs, and then you can now. So that's what I would say. Get a 1 menial job, get one small thing that can just give you a small money to help you start up. People want to identify with things that are already on their feet. That's the truth. And you will do less talking, because getting people to join you at that level where there is almost nothing, you are literally begging. It's not like you will not find people. I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to find 1 or 2 people, but, well, you asked me, right? So I'm telling you what my own answer would be is find something, just look for whatever, no matter how small it is first. Just start off from there before you embrace that vision so that you don't eventually get frustrated along the way. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So my question is kind of.
Usually when people want to ask you, they'll say thank you for what you've said. You're not even thanking me or anything. You're just talking. Don't mind me, I'm talking. I'm just joking. Sir.
All right. So, are there points in your life at your way of work that, because by the help of God, I'm actually in this kind of line also. Jeff, it's one of the things I work with. So there are times that you want to do a project and you are low on the project the budget is very low, and now it wasn't that you had a very strong team. You still have to have a lot of people work with you. So how do you manage that kind of scenario?
You don't have a very strong team in what sense? I don't understand.
Okay, so now for a start, it wasn't that like I was listening to your story that you had people come with you start all the whole journey. There were times that there was no gig, but you were investing in them, and so now when the gigs on, you have people to fall back to like a team. Now you were just putting up teams together. For me, I'm just putting up teams together,
Okay.
and so got a project, and the project was not that bulky.
Can you
And-
just use a specific scenario?
Okay, so for a scenario like this, maybe you have a
no,
production.
don't say maybe. Tell me about something that you experienced.
Oh yeah, so I had a production over the time, and so the production is both music and video, and it's a live recording
Okay.
project, not here in Abuja. Per se. So, and I need good guys to work with, and where I was there was no way I can bring guys in people I've been working with. So
Okay.
I just need to some people came in as a volunteer, but they were not strong ends. So, and the budget is not encouraging to say you want to even hire people to do that thing. So how do you, and you really want to do that project? Yes, you really want to do the project. Maybe the project is not on the sentimental, but you know that if I do this project, there is something that is going to come out of it. You strongly believe in the output that is coming out from that project. But now, what is even going to help you to bring the output? It's not there. It's not outputting.
Okay.
So how do you do that?
Okay. Well, I will tell you how I've dealt with issues and I have a lot of them. I'll just tell you two very quick ones, and they all happened in. I talked earlier about. I had clients from the UK and from the US that came in December. I worked with both. One came in to stay for 5 weeks from the US. Another came in to stay for about a week from the UK. And did live recording for all of them. Both of them, for some reason, fell short with funds. The one from the US, just when he was about to come to Nigeria, he was scammed of $185,000. Yes, crypto. So he had the money he wanted to bring to Nigeria in an envelope. No. He didn't have any money, but his wife said, "That project you must go and do it, and I want you to do it with Manus." So he was completely low on cash, and then he had to sell one of his cars, and he made $12,000 from this because the car was on what do they call it? He had not finished paying for the car. So when he sold it, they now took the remaining money from it. So what was left for him was $12,000. So he called me and said, "Manus, listen, you know the quality of it. What we wanted to do was going to be about $20-something thousand." And so he called me and said, "Manus, I want to leave $2,000 for my wife. I want to come with $10,000. I have this $300 on top. That's just change. I'll use that one on the road as I'm coming. I've already bought my ticket and everything. Please, what can this $10,000 do?" I laughed because it was not anything close to what we wanted to achieve. So, but he said, "Please," just kept talking. And I'm like, "Hi, this guy is he has already bought his ticket. He's about to come all the way from the US to work with me. That is something, it counts for something." So I told him, "Sir, don't worry, come." So I spoke with my wife about it, and I told my wife, I said, "Look, I'm probably not going to make gain from this, but I want this thing to work." So what's the first thing I did? I called all my guys, cinematographer. I called the studio we're going to use. We're going to use Family Worship Studio. I called the person that was managing it and said, "Look." So this brings me back to what I talked about earlier. Withdrawing from places you have made deposits into. So I called all the people who have made deposits. I told you, I said, everybody's owing me favors, including Jeff. All of you here are about to owe me favors. Now, so I called everybody and said, "Look, I have a project. This is it, this is it, this is it. I need it to work. I know this is what you will charge, but please, this is what I want you to take. So we're like, I said, please, I want this to work. And guess what? I had to put in some of my money because I had to pay his hotel for 5 weeks. I had to give him money to feed. Like I'll call my account officer and say, please, help me. I'm sending an Uber to you. Help me give him 300,000 to take to the guy. He needed money to eat. He needed money. His wife said she should buy him kilishi. He said, I had to pay for everything. I had to buy everything. So I did it. Second was a lady still in December that came in from the UK. She was going to come for Koinonia, the mandate, right? She said, please, I'd like to use the opportunity, but how much? I said, for what you want to do is going to cost you about £4,700 or so. And then she said, that's too much for the time. It's not as if it's too much, but for the time frame, what do we do? And I have some friends in the UK, but there's a particular set of people that have been trying to break through into in the UK, and she's in the forefront of those people. And I know that if I do this job for this lady, I have automatic access to these people. So I said, I'm going to pay for that access by doing this job for her. So I did a £4,700 worth of project with £2,500. All right? I had to put in some of my money. I had to let some things, I had to speak with my team and told them, say, guys, it's something we are pursuing. It's an investment. Just collect this one, but I need us to get this project done. So, like you said, if you are very sure that this is going to bring something that you are looking for, then be willing to invest into it also. But if you are not sure, I've turned down some jobs too. So I'm not even going to lie that anybody that comes, I told you, in business you also have to be shrewd. I have a family to feed. I have a daughter that, I cannot tell that I cannot buy her lollipop. So you have to be shrewd sometimes. I've turned down, there's a lady in Abuja here, I won't want to mention her name, who called and she wanted to do something. I said, okay, we can get it done for you for 7 million. And then she was like, Manu, send your account number. I sent it, and then she sent me 5 million. She said, Manu, see? I said, Ma, send your account number. And I sent it back to her. She was surprised. She said, Manu, 5 million. I said, yes, sorry, ma. I can't do it. She was surprised. Even me, I was surprised. But sometimes there are some decisions you have to take because of the future. You just let some things go. Even if in business they've taught us don't lose money. Any money that comes, take it. But there are some that will haunt you. And then you just let them go. Trust me, I've turned down quite a number. I've told somebody, bro, use this one, buy jeans. I literally told him, use it to buy jeans. So, but if you know that it's something that you believe in and something that if you were given an opportunity you could invest in, then why not? Go ahead and do what you can. If you have leverages, you have people you can speak with who can jump in on it, on your honors, do that. If you have some monies, you can push into it as long as you know it's something that will profit you and your line of work. Please do it. I hope I was able to help. That's all, Abi. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Wow. There's one more question, though. There's one more question. Okay. And they are coming in now. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful class and all. My question is, you in Module 7, you talked about care and emotional intelligence. There are some scenarios, okay, I've heard of some scenarios, and I don't have a team presently, but I'm currently part of a team. In scenarios where, okay, you started building a team from scratch, and probably you don't have the funding, and also you have to work with guys that are willing to push your vision forward, not minding even if they are not gaining anything and all, but skillfully they are not really good and all. Okay, so you start, I'm just talking in the line of music also. So you start growing, you start advancing, and you get to a particular point in time where maybe you get a project or a particular opportunity and you know you need people, better people. But these guys have been the one. I've heard of a popular, like a big name that had to turn down some of his guys and hire better ones. And these people were not happy about it. You understand? And you talked about emotional intelligence and care. So how do you handle such situation?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I've been responsible for some of these things you are talking about. By being responsible means that I've worked with one of my principles is if you want to work with me, it doesn't matter who you are. I must work with my team. It does not matter who you are. So the worst thing or the best thing that can happen is that I can accommodate some of your people, okay, and then in cases where it is as a result of funding, maybe the client really does not have enough money to pay my guys. Sometimes I'm willing to say, okay, I'll reduce some of my guys. Okay, let's augment to some of your guys. Now, so I've had first-hand experiences with people telling their team, hold on, let's work with Team Manus or let's work with Manus's guys. So first off is you need to keep encouraging every member of the team to, before I started my team, I used to tell my choir members, I'm a music pastor in my church, and I used to tell them, I said, listen, there's no reason why I have you guys, musicians and singers here, and I always have to go and pay people outside to execute jobs. Why are you guys not developing yourselves? This is what you want to do. You want to sing, you want to play music. Why are you not developing yourselves and becoming better? So the first thing you want to do is you want to encourage people consistently to develop themselves. That's one. Number two, that is as a leader now. You have your team. You want to keep encouraging them to develop themselves. Number two is you have to consistently share the vision of what you want to do and let them know that there is a standard that you want. Never make them feel like they are good enough. Let me rephrase that so that I'm not misunderstood. Never get to the point where they become comfortable and feel that, oh, they are now good enough. Always remind them that, listen, as much as you are not a write-off, there's still a lot to do. So that when time comes to do a project and it requires a certain level of excellence, even them would know that we cannot attain this level of excellence. And so it is simple. What you do is not to push them, it's not to relegate them and tell them to go and sit down. And then, because when you are done, and I used to tell my clients, if you relegate these guys completely and my guys come and sing for you, they will invite you for a program tomorrow. Are you going to call us? It is this your guys. So what I always tell my clients is, it's okay. Bring your people. Bring 3 of your singers. Bring all of your singers. Bring your musicians. Let them be part of the rehearsals. 2 or 3 of the singers can actually even join us for the recording. In this, with this, they would know that, oh, you have their interests at heart. You don't just want to relegate them, but you want them to also grow. So they are part of the rehearsals. They are learning everything that the so-called professionals are doing. And then they are also part of the project. And so the ones who are not part of it would see that, wow, Oga made an effort to put 2 or 3 of us in it. So he really doesn't mean bad for us. So I feel there are ways to go about it where people don't just feel like they were used and dumped, because you always need those people. But there's a point you get to and you have to let them go. That's the truth. Otherwise, there is somebody in this town who is suffering it. It's all of you here, he's your favorite. He's suffering it now because of this same challenge. He did not take this advice, and I spoke with him. He didn't take, very dear friend, he didn't take my advice to let these guys go early. And so now he rose to a certain level by his music that he rose by was studio recordings. So now he needs, because of that, he's now traveling. He has to go to places to minister with a weak team. And then you see him on stage literally cursing on these guys. When he could have just not just pursue them, but sit down and let's talk. The truth is this. I'm not pushing you guys, but the truth is there is a demand. And we cannot meet this demand. It's something that can be conversed about. Otherwise, you sit down there and face the consequences. But yeah, so don't just pursue them. Try and find a way to, add them to the project through the rehearsals. You should also learn whatever those guys, so-called professionals, are doing. They are the ones that will have to eventually do it after the project is done. So it's even good that they get to learn everything. Did I answer the question? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Oreva.
Bullet shot. I think I will probably have to take off that Mrs.
No,
Say that bullet shot for me.
no,
Okay,
please.
that was
no.
a lighter note. Thank you so much for the lesson. However, this is my own personal problem that I want to share. Okay. So my question is, we've been talking about team. I've learned a whole lot. Some I'm already doing. Some I'm going to. Most of them I'm going to, of course, implement. But my question is, this team, how do you really sort for the right team? Because so far, when I need a staff or when I need staff, I make a flyer, I put it on my status, people help me share. But I don't know, it's a feeling like people are not really interested in baking. I don't get any response, any feedback to say, okay, I'm interested. Even there was a time I put out a call for apprenticeship. I was really even willing to teach you for some months, and then if you do well, I employ you and all of that. But I didn't get any response. So at the moment, I have a woman in Kabusa village whom if I need any person, I just call her, Madam, I beg, you get anybody where they find work, please call, I need someone. So my question is, how do you really get, I really want to scale up. I want to establish this year. I have a whole lot of vision I have put out and I really want to achieve. But how does one really get this team, this set of people to actually come in and do the job? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ma. I'm so sorry for your wahala. Like I said earlier, we live in very interesting times. This is not just your challenge. It's a very, very serious challenge. There's a project I'm doing in Sapele. I have some clients in France who want to build, who I helped build a church. We bought equipment we built the church and bought equipment from China worth probably over close to $200,000, and stuff. So I go to, in fact, next week, I'm going to be in Sapele for like 10 days with my team from next week, Wednesday. One of the prevalent issues in Sapele, and I was speaking with one young man who told me that he had to shut down his barbing salon, his laundry, and 3 businesses. He had to shut them down because nobody wants to stay. There's content creation now that is giving money from the comfort of your home. They will have more money. But by the time you are baking, by the time you are making profit, by the time you are making 200,000 naira profit from that cake, that person would have made $200. So you are up against systems. All right? You're up against systems. Now, so while you're dealing with this, I'm dealing with mine, he's dealing with his, everybody's dealing, especially issues that are curated for your ecosystem. Now, it befalls you to, like I said before, there is no one size fits all. I may not be able to tell you where to find the people that you need for your line of business. But this is what I can say to you. If you really want to do this and you really want to build, you may have to consider, do you have a maid? You have a maid. Where did you get your maid from? Good. So you may have to consider going the route of going to bring people. I know churches, or I know someone that, like Solomon Lange, some years ago, he would go to Kaduna, he would rent a house, a 3-bedroom, because musicians in Abuja were becoming hot, they were not allowing him. So he go to Kaduna and bring musicians, put them in 3-bedroom. They are there. He's feeding them, he's paying them, they are there. But of course, after a while, it's music. They will become their head, they will start doing dada, and then they will leave, you know. But I'm just saying, you may want to consider bringing someone, if you have a relative or something, or you want to go somewhere and bring someone into Abuja. This person is, yeah, because you see, the truth is this. One thing we really, 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 really should start thinking about is legacy. Is how that what we are doing does not end with us. And if we're not careful, a lot of us will just go. And we can't pass, you know. I have a mass choir that grows by 100 every year. I do a lot of stuff. So right now we are at about 400. And see, and I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, apart from the things that God has asked us, the reasons God, apart from the vision behind that mass choir, one of the main reasons why I'm doing the mass choir personal is because I want to have plenty people in years to come who will be able to say, hey, I was in your mass choir. Hey, when I'm traveling in one airport, somebody will say, yeah. Or you hear that I'm coming to one country, I have people there and all of that. A lot of us are not thinking about that. We're just thinking about now. So you may want to, consider going, to somewhere, bring in somebody, have an arrangement, whether with the family or something, and say, listen, we're going to do this for 10 years. We're going to do this for 5 years. We're going to do it's an agreement. You will go to school, or you will learn this work and stuff like that. I'm just saying it may not work, but I had to say something. So, but figure out how to get someone, that is probably not around here, who is not yet exposed to certain systems that are not favoring your system. If I made sense, shout hallelujah.
Okay, thank you so very much, sir. Please, let's just put our hands together for Mr. Manu Sapmanke. Okay, so I think we'll go on a break now. Just a few minutes break. We'll be gone for 10 minutes. So the time right now is 12:32. So in 12:42, we should be back here, and we will have the rest of our guests in a panel session. Make use of your 10 minutes very wisely. So there's a cafe just behind you. You need to get water, you need anything else you need. You can just go to the cafe and get it, and we'll be back here in 10 minutes. See you soon.